Check this out. This is the new Starlink Mini, and this panel is like the size of a laptop. You could fit this in a backpack, and the whole router and everything is built in, so all you need is a power source and you can have internet anywhere. So I came out here to the middle of nowhere to test this panel out in a variety of ways. I made another video about the Starlink Mini, and I had a ton of questions about the capabilities of this panel. So in this video, I'm gonna answer all those questions to the best of my ability and test this out in a few different scenarios. And one of the best things about the Starlink Mini is the size, because you could just throw this into your backpack and it fits just right in the laptop sleeve. And now I could take this hiking out to a remote location, and you have the capabilities to have internet anywhere as long as you have a nice clear view of the sky to be able to connect to the satellites. So first, let's talk about price. So the price of this panel is $5.99, and the service is $30 a month. And this product is only available if you already have Starlink service on a residential plan. Now, I expect this to change. I'm pretty sure what's going on is they're doing a rollout, just initially a small batch. This first batch was about 10,000 units, and then eventually they're gonna make it available to everyone. The panel itself will probably be cheaper, and there's probably gonna be some different plans, because right now you get $30 a month, and it only gives you 50 gigabytes of data per month. So one of the questions that keeps coming up again and again is, can you use this panel in motion? Well, technically, based on what it says on the website when I got it, you can't use this in motion. It's supposed to be only used stationary. However, we're gonna test that right now. So I have the panel set up and aligned right here, and I'm gonna mount it just on the Jeep. I don't really have a good spot at the moment, but we're just gonna find a place to mount it. And I'm gonna drive this canyon where I have no service, because I'm going up to the trailhead and there's absolutely no service out here for me. So I'm going to drive and see if the Starlink works. Okay, so I have it mounted here on my dash. I use some camera mounts that I have here in the car to just kind of secure it as I'm driving. Right now, it says that it's misaligned. So I got it all lined up, I got it synced up, and then I put it up here and it's misaligned. But let's run the test. I just hit run, and you can see that my download speeds are around 125 megabits per second, and upload speeds are kind of in the 10 range, and 26 milliseconds for latency. All right, so now let's start driving and see if this continues to work. I'm up here getting towards the top of this hill. It's like 20 megabits per second, 25 megabits per second. Back there when I was in the canyon, it was getting like 70, 80. So it's kind of been bouncing around, which makes sense because I'm driving the Jeep in different directions. So now I'm facing a different heading I'm facing more north, and now it's back up to like 60, closer to 70. So obviously the orientation makes a huge impact on how much data you're going to be able to use for download and upload. But just the fact that I've been able to drive a few miles and I'm able to continue to have internet, that's pretty good for being a device that says that you can't use it in motion. This is showing me that you can use it in motion. So super interesting. I got this warning that popped up that said you can't use the Starlink Mini in motion. It's not part of my plan. However, I turned it on like way down there in the canyon, and it only kicked me off once to get all the way up here. And then I stopped, realigned, and then I started driving again, and it stayed on the whole way up. So technically, this panel can't be used in motion. However, what I'm seeing is that it's allowing me to go in motion, and at some point it might just kick you off. So I don't know, for me, if I'm off-roading or something, like having this mounted in a way where I could flip a switch, grab internet, might actually work. and especially if I just need it for a little bit and then turn it off until I need it again. You do have to keep in mind, the alignment makes a huge impact on the data speeds, and so you have to spin it and align it to make sure that it's, you know, facing the right direction to be able to get the fastest speeds. However, as I was going, you're seeing the speeds were changed. I was able to do speed tests while I was driving, and it was bouncing around. But in motion, that might be enough just to like make a phone call or just check something on a map real quick instead of having just completely no service. I don't know. Again, something I'm gonna have to continue to test as I work with this more and more. All right, so I'm going up there and let's answer some more questions about the Mini. Okay, I've gotten a lot of questions about speed tests on the trails. So right now, the Starlink is actually just in my Jeep. I haven't really taken it out. So let me just pull up the Starlink app and let's check the speeds that I'm getting right here. All right, so you can see that it says that I'm online, I am partially obstructed, and I'm misaligned. Let's see what kind of speed test we can get with the panel. So I'm gonna run it. So you can see right here, it's getting 50 megabits per second, 21 millisecond latency, and it's gonna pop up with the upload speed in a second. So it's 20 megabits per second, 16, 13, 12, back around like 10 to 14 megabits per second. So 60 and 14. All right, so let me adjust this slightly. Whoa, the bugs are attacking me up here. Let's do another speed test now that it's mounted properly with a good view of the sky. So I'm gonna pull up the speed test. We're gonna let it go. And out here I'm getting, looks like 90, 100, 110. Okay, so it's getting up to close to 120 megabits per second with about 10 megabits per second upload. So this is what I've been consistently getting when the panel's set up in the right way. Now, when I kind of adjusting and it's misaligned, it drops down to 80, sometimes 60, sometimes 40. But as long as it's aligned properly, you're getting over 100 megabits per second. I had some questions about how much power the panel is actually drawing at any given time. Because based on the specs, it takes about 60 watts to run this panel. However, in practice, what I'm actually seeing is that now that we have the panel up and running and it's been going for a while, I'm drawing like 24, 27, 26, up to 30. It's anywhere in the like 20s is pretty much what I'm drawing consistently. So for those of you who are wondering how much power that the panel's taking, it starts with a much higher wattage, like 40 to 60, and then it drops down. Now I'm in the 20s and 30s, and that's what I've been seeing consistently as I've been using the Starlink Mini. Now check this out. I actually just bought a cable off Amazon. It's a USB-C to 5.5 millimeter, which is gonna work on the panel. And I'm gonna try running the panel just off this cable. Because for me, running off a USB-C makes a lot more sense than always having this AC adapter that comes with the panel. Hopefully they come out with some more accessories, because right now this is the only cable that goes with it. However, this is just a cheap cable I got off Amazon. And let's plug it in. Looks like it's working just fine with this cable. It all works, I'm back online. So as long as it's outputting enough wattage, you're able to use a USB-C to plug this in if you have the right cable to connect. And there's tons of options out there. It's probably not recommended, but this obviously works just fine. I have one more thing I want to test though. Now this is my drone battery tri-charger. So I bring this with me whenever I'm out filming. And this is also a power bank, so I could use this to power devices, and it has an output on it. So let's test this cable that I have. And I brought my iPad along because this does not have any cell signal whatsoever, even though I don't really have any cell signal out here. But just to fully test this, let's go on YouTube. Powering off the DJI batteries, let's pull up a video to watch. There we go. Full service. That's awesome. This makes such a difference for those of you who are doing things like backpacking, those of you who want a smaller footprint, because you don't have to bring a huge battery to be able to use this panel. If you have just a little portable battery that you're running to power a few of your devices, or you are a creator and you're using something like drone batteries, well, you can use this panel off of those batteries. And the way that I see using this kind of panel with this setup is if I am doing something like hiking or out on an adventure and I only need to really connect to check a few things, maybe check in. If an emergency comes up, I have internet connection. Now, I always carry a Garmin with me when I'm out exploring as well. However, having the Wi-Fi just gives you so much capability, and the Garmin is very much for emergencies. This opens up a whole world of possibilities, especially bringing such a small panel with a small cable that hooks in USB-C and a portable power bank. Like, this is amazing. It's kind of a game changer. Now, I've had a lot of questions about my Jeep, just in general. So I'm gonna do a full breakdown of this whole setup that I've built that I use for adventure filmmaking. Like when I go to explore some place, make some videos, like this is my base camp. And so I'll do another video about that soon. And if you are someone who wants to go shoot outdoor adventure style content, well, on my main channel, Jeven Dovey, I teach filmmaking, I teach audience growth. If you're someone who likes to learn with a step-by-step guide, well, I have a whole program that teaches you exactly how to grow your audience on YouTube, and it's on my website called The Creator Film School. So you could check that out after you're done with this video. But my Jeep breakdown will definitely be on this channel soon. I have a few more things I want to tweak before I do the full walkthrough. Now, I've had some comments about the heat on this panel. So I'm in Southern California. It's 80-something degrees right now up here on the top of this mountain. And the panel's been working fine on the hood of my Jeep, which is obviously very hot. Now, this isn't like a complete test of how hot this panel can get before it shuts off or before it gets destroyed or something, but for being in hot weather, it's been working just fine. And I've been running it pretty consistently all day today. And so when I go out to the desert, when it's in the hundreds, I'll definitely be doing some more testing with this to see if there are any limitations when it comes to overheating and if the panel actually gets too hot. So the next question that I have is about range. So how far can you get away from the panel and still have good service? Hold that thought, I'm gonna grab some food. My phone just mounts right here. And I picked up some sushi on the way up here, because why not have sushi in the middle of nowhere? All right, so let's do a little range test here. I'm gonna walk up this trail and we're gonna see how long we stay connected. We'll just stop at different intervals and we'll check the speed and see if I'm still getting a good signal. So I'm standing over here, pretty far away. It says my speed's 20 megabits per second. All right, let's walk a little further. I'm gonna go up this trail. Make sure there's no rattlesnakes up here. Hi, I'm way up here. Let's run a speed test. Okay, so I don't have service here. All right, right here, I'm starting to get signal again. Okay, that's actually a pretty solid distance. I'm gonna test this one more time. Let's back up. Stop this test, go back by this tarantula hole, run it again, failed. Okay, so I think I found the limit. It's right near this tree here. So my Jeep's 19 feet long. It looks like it's probably 5 Jeeps to me. So roughly 100 feet distance. I'd say not bad. All right, I'm gonna move away from spiders and snakes. So I gotta pause making this video right now because I have a video call that I need to take. So let's see how well this works for doing a video call. It's gonna be over Zoom. Computer's a little dirty. Now, one question I did get about the Starlink mini panel is asking if you only can connect via Wi-Fi or can you use Ethernet? So on the back of the panel, you have your power port, but there's also a second port that's Ethernet. So you can connect via wirelessly, or if you do want to have a wired connection, you can plug directly into the panel. All right, I gotta take this meeting and I'll see you on the other side, which will be like in 2 seconds. Well, that was cool. I just did a 45-minute call using Starlink. It didn't drop out at all. I've already seen in the comments of my last video, people are hating on the speeds and the data limits and all that. But for what it is, such a small panel, and I can actually do work anywhere. So, does the Starlink Mini make sense for you? I think it really depends on how you're going to use it. If you want to have a panel that's always mounted to your vehicle, maybe you're someone who's in a van traveling around or in a Jeep or something like that, well, you'll probably want the bigger Starlink that has the roaming plan because you're not going to be throttled at 50 gigabytes and you also can be traveling while you're using that panel. Now, the Starlink Mini is perfect for those of you who just need to connect once in a while. So for me, I don't need to have constant connection at all times, but when I'm at camp, I would love to jump online, be able to check in with my family back home, or be able to just check a few things online, but I'm not necessarily going to be using it for tons of data. And so depending on how you're going to be using this panel, it may or may not work for you. But for those situations where you want to throw it in your backpack, take it out to a remote location, and be able to jump online, well, this is perfect. And it just opens up a ton of potential to be able to have internet pretty much anywhere that you go. I'm really curious to see what the price is actually going to be once it's more widely available, and also if there are going to be data plans that allow for more than 50 gigabytes and also roaming capabilities, so you can mount this to something like the top of the Jeep, be able to keep using it in motion wherever you're going. However, I think the biggest thing when it comes to in motion, this panel has to be manually adjusted to point it the right direction in the sky. And for that reason, this system is much better to use when you stop somewhere, pop it up, grab internet for a little bit, and then pack it back away and keep on moving. However, there's going to be a ton of people that find this useful, and I'd love to know your thoughts if this is something that you'd be interested in. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, follow, like, do all that. It lets me know that you enjoy watching these videos. And next, you should check out this video right here, which is the previous video that I did on the Starlink Mini, and it shows using this panel in a few different ways. I'll see you over there.